Couple weeks off and we're officially back. We got a great show for you. In the studio, we have Chris Hadaway, Doug Monda, Raul Rivas, our great friend over there, Paul. Karen is off-site at home checking us out. So if you're following us along on Facebook Live, you can actually see Karen, the beautiful Karen. There's too much testosterone in this room today. Too much testosterone.
Too many SWAT guys.
That's right. She said, I don't want any of that today. So
she would really only come for Paul anyway.
Right. He's the smoothest one in the room.
He is. He's the ladies' man in the group.
So this past Wednesday, I believe the Dirty Oar opened their doors back up and have had a great turnout and a ton of support. So, Paul, can you tell us, what's happening at the Dirty Oar in Cocoa, Florida right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess you need a mic. Hold on. Actually, grab Raul's. It'll be easier to spin this way.
Right on. We opened Wednesday. We were fortunate enough to team up with Mikey from the Speedy Weenie. We're actually part of his license now, which is what's required by the DBPR for the state. And had a great week. Saturday night we had the Rockstar Lobster truck there, and it was awesome.
Lobster truck.
I was incredibly appreciative of the fact that, the mandate as far as how we situated ourselves inside. We're only permitted to have 50% occupancy.
Okay.
And everybody honored that.
Right.
It was awesome. I mean, everybody followed the rules. Outside was a different story.
Right.
Everybody outside, it was mobbed.
Hey, if the sun is shining, it's killing the COVID.
Yeah,
so.
and the reality was it was raining like crazy.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know
Absolutely.
that?
No, I didn't see it.
You can't catch it in the daylight, bro.
I didn't know if it didn't work outside.
The beach is safe, so
yeah.
I mean, it kills the UV lights. Actually, kill that. They're actually in the White House and other places. They're putting UV lights in the door frame, so it kills it as you walk through. It's pretty neat. But
cool.
So go to the Dirty Oar and eat outside, and you're golden, right?
Yeah, it was an awesome day. We were very appreciative of everybody that showed up. Quite frankly, it was probably one of our busiest days ever.
I love that. I'm so glad to hear that people are still coming out, still supporting you, for all the support that you do to us. I mean, every time you have that opportunity, you put it back out there, and we're so appreciative for that. You did bring some amazing brew today. Can you tell us about that?
I brought our most recent offering. It's called Larry's Black Cherry Wheat Ale.
Oh, nice.
Larry is a close friend of ours. He's a Founders Club member, owns Larry's Auto Repair in Cocoa.
Right.
Just all-around great guy, honest, great service, but the beer is awesome. 5.5
really
ABV.
Good.
What'd you say, Karen?
It's really good.
Yeah, and Karen doesn't like beer, and she enjoyed it.
I don't like beer.
Well, there you go. You're bringing her into a new world.
Yes.
It's the wheated. It makes it so smooth. We love that.
It's just a nice, easy drinker. Great beer. It's funny because we just introduced it on Wednesday, and we've already blown through a barrel of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I changed one yesterday when I was at the brewery.
That's great. So you said the hours are going to be Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, we're limiting the hours just in the interest of trying to do the right thing. Wednesday,
Safety,
Thursday, 4 to 8. Friday and Saturday, 2 to 8. And Sunday from noon to 6.
So that's great news for everybody. If you haven't been by the Dirty Oar, or you're going to find yourself in Central Florida here anytime soon, please stop by the Dirty Oar. Have something great to drink. There's always something on tap that's amazing there. Very unique setting there. It's actually a live art gallery. So, you have Eric Lamar that has done all the artwork there. The side of the building is artwork. You can follow along the Dirty Oar on Facebook if you're not sure. And Paul, what's the address if we find ourselves in Cocoa
329 King Street, just one block east of US 1 on the south side.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank you.
One more thing. Our actual anniversary of when we began serving our own beer is Wednesday.
Oh, you got to be there for Wednesday.
Yeah, so stay tuned. I mean, the entire week
Like
we're
in
going to
2 days Wednesday?
Yeah.
So we have plans Wednesday night?
Yeah, we'll clue you in tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
When you're there.
Hey, but I guess we got plans Wednesday night.
Hey, everybody sit
We're
down what
there.
you're doing. Find yourself at the Dirty Oar. We'll
Yeah,
all
we're
be
doing
there,
a bunch
sure.
of special stuff throughout the weekend,
Right.
From Wednesday through Sunday, and I'll post that on social media. If not tonight, probably tomorrow at some point.
Excellent.
So it's going to be awesome.
Well, thank you so much for the brews. Cheers
Yep.
to everyone.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Hey,
Salute.
all right.
Jesse, Raul, Chris.
Long reach. Oh, he got us.
Just threw two bolts just ripped out.
I love that. So
Let me give a shout. Rich Gregg
Thank you,
is
sir.
is watching us tonight. My old partner. He actually, I lost my old partner, and he went and played with Raul for a while.
Yeah, he's over there in Orlando.
I
Yep,
love
yeah.
Rich, man. He's my boy, man.
Good dude.
Yeah.
Good dude.
And Ray Rocca from Texas. That was my old sergeant.
Really?
One of the best sergeants you could ever ask for, man. I love that guy. I'm glad he's on the show, or I thought he was, or I saw his name pop up somewhere. Was Ray there when you were there, Chris?
No, he
Did
was gone
He left. He left while you were in Iraq, I think.
somewhere around there.
Right? Maybe. Yeah, because during days, Doug Levine, I see you, buddy. Serve some beer down at the boat ramp Saturday.
There you go.
know, and listen, everybody uses our sponsor. Like, everybody calls me to call Paul, like, hey, man, you think you can get your buddy to come down there and serve beer? No, bitch, go to the freaking brewery and buy it like everybody else.
That's
It's
right.
being made right there. I mean, it's just a short walk away if you're down at the boat docks.
Yeah, I was there Saturday night with Paul. Actually, well, Karen and I was. It was freaking awesome, man. It was a good time. It was nice. So we're gonna.
I was gonna say they do practice good. They have the seats away from the bar, so everything is there safe. You can go and feel safe that they're respecting all of the recommendations that are going on. I mean, I felt really good being there. I didn't feel it was crowded, but I didn't feel like I had a huge crowd around me. So they're doing good things.
Yeah, it was good time. So we got a special guest tonight. So not only is he one of our brothers from SWAT, but he's also my teammate on Trauma Behind the Badge, which is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You have to go to the website, which is traumabehindthebadge.com, and you have to register to get the link. And you can go on there, and we've got a dynamic freaking team. We're doing great things with Trauma Behind the Badge. We've got Chris Scallon, Chris Fields, Pat Dragon, Rich Crean. We got a bunch of guys on there that have been there and done that in a career, and we're pretty excited about it. So I'd ask Raul to come on over here and join Chris and I and Karen on the show. Obviously, if you don't know, what Rich said, if Fat Doug runs the 5K, then he can get beer at the dock. Oh, you must be talking about Big Doug. I thought he was talking about me. I'm like, you know better than to think I'm fat. So anyway, obviously, Raul, I'll let him talk that, but just had introducing him. He's an OPD SWAT guy. He was involved in the pole shooting incident. And tonight what we're going to do is, am I doing your job, Chris?
Oh no, that's okay. Hey, listen.
You're looking at me like I'm saying you were gone last week, and he messed me up, man. He's
Right.
like, I called him up, I'm like, hey, you coming to the show? He goes, man, I'm in Tennessee drinking bourbon.
Bourbon. Hey,
was like, you
bourbon is
bastard.
essential. I wore that
Yeah,
shirt
essential
already.
thing.
Priority.
So I just
That's
looked
right.
up.
That's right.
I'm so used to you doing all this stuff.
That's
but
right.
anyway, we're going to just talk about how it impacted all of us and how it impacted Raul. And we'll go for it. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Honor to have you. It's an honor to be your friend. It's
Yes, sir.
an honor to
Likewise.
be your brother.
Likewise.
Anyway, so
Let's walk through this kind
ready
of quickly
to.
but slowly.
I'm gonna take one more sip.
Sure,
If you guys okay.
absolutely. You take as many sips as you need. This is something really good.
This ain't that serious.
Making myself comfortable.
There you go. There you go. We got a backup supply, so there's plenty.
Oh, good. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
So let's actually start from the beginning. What were you doing leading up to receiving the call? Were you on duty?
Great first question. I tell you what.
His old ass don't remember what he was doing.
Well, and this is one of the weird things is that, and I say this a lot. I'm not sure if it was the SWAT gods or just Murphy or all those terms that we have out there, but we had just had 2 call-outs, probably within 30 something hours.
Wow.
Both hostage situations, serious deals.
Right.
And literally the last one before Pulse, I don't know, we got done with it during the day sometime, whatever hour it was. A guy, he had gotten into a vehicle pursuit from another county, crashed into a condo and took the people inside hostage. We were there for hours dealing with that, and myself and James Parker and Mike Pollock ended up being the ones when we made entry and we gassed the place. And this guy was eating the gas like we had just sprayed some
Right.
some licorice in there. He just was eating it up like it's nothing and staying quiet in the bathroom. And the 3 of us went in there and we apprehended him, but it was a fight. It was a fight. I came out and had gas mask on. I remember coming out and I was just spent.
Right.
Of course, I didn't let the guys around me. So, I walked to my car, and then I got in my car and laid down. You're not going to see me hurt, so you're not going to see me hurt.
We know that trick.
Yeah. So, and literally, I went from there to a family get-together. I still had my SWAT pants on, changed my shirt, got home, did some things around the house, and we can curse here, right?
You can say whatever you got to say.
Out there, yeah.
Raul,
So
you can
I was
say
just making
whatever
sure,
you
man.
Do you see who's sitting next to you, man?
You say whatever you need to say.
This is a Doug Monda show.
I know. I swear, I think I got my left ass cheek on the bed when the phone went off and saying that another active shooter, but an active shooter's going on, and what do we think at that point? Active shooter, and you're on SWAT.
Where I hear it.
Before I get my pants on, this would be over.
Right.
Because active shooters last 2 minutes, 3 minutes
At the
tops.
longest, yeah.
I get my pants on and go to the car, and I'm looking at my phone waiting for the cancellation, and it still ain't come in. So that shit was a little different. But
Right.
yeah, leading up to it, I don't know if the gods were sharpening our skills a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have the saying about everything happens in 3, so that was the third one, and boy,
Right.
they walloped the third one on us. So yeah, leading up to it, just
And the third one being the grand finale.
Yeah, the grand
I mean,
finale. Yeah.
The pinnacle
Right,
in everybody's career.
right,
So,
right.
What's up, Mike Flagg?
So that's what led up to it. I mean, and I was trying to remember. It was a weekend because the next day was Sunday. It happened Saturday night going into Sunday morning. So it was off.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to take a detour really quick because this is like really something really important to talk about. As vividly as it is in your eyes and in your mind, there are some things that you're going to push out and not remember, right? And that you kind of blockade from everybody else knowing. So as you're following along with us, and I'm talking to the viewers and the listeners, it takes time to recall, and then there's some things that he doesn't need to recall, and that will just go around, right? So just be patient, because the story is, I mean, we're talking about total carnage.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there are things that he'll never forget. There are things that you as the law enforcement officer across the United States, across the world, that are listening, relive and replay. And you don't have to share that with everybody. And that's important.
Yes, sir.
Because you got to make sure that you can make it through each and every day. And how do you do that? So it's extreme. So you took, within 30 hours, you did 2 SWAT call-outs.
Yeah. And
then there was no break.
No.
You go to settle down, and it's like, oh, shit, here we go.
Here we go. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, and you mentioned the carnage, and it kind of took me back, because I tell you, one of the big things that and everybody that was there, that entered that scene, remembers seeing a war zone.
Right.
Just so we've all been as LEOs, we've seen dead bodies.
Right.
We see a couple dead bodies. 3 or 4 dead bodies. We were talking about 40 of them laying on the dance floor and in the bathroom.
It's a game. It's a first person shooter game that's real
Yes, sir.
life.
Yes, sir.
And it has
It's a Stephen King movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
In real
Yeah.
life.
It has a distinct smell. I'm sure there's taste that you don't forget. Just breaking into a sweat, putting, even just sounds that you hear. Like for us, Velcro, putting that Velcro on. I remember the last time I did this, right? So there's all kinds of different things that enhance your daily life.
Right.
Reliving that a lot.
Yeah, I tell you and I guess every scene has its thing. Nick,
Yes.
like you said that
Yeah.
you remember. Talking to my guys on the SWAT team, one of the things we remember, and guys that were there, not because the patrol units that were there did an incredible job, doing what they did. But when I talk to guys, one of the things that most of us remember and just was eerie to us was the phones. They're just phones on the ground, just being lit up.
Right.
And I just go back to that's somebody's wife,
Right.
somebody's brother, sister, mother, father, looking, because it's already hitting the news.
Right.
So they're looking for that person, and the phones, they were lighting the club up.
Right.
And that, I remember it giving me a moment of pause in a time when we didn't have no moment to pause. So
Right.
That was just one of those things that, and it constantly plays in the back of my head, and I just know that it was family members, and I just can't imagine. You put yourself in that, being the father of his son, and just having family members, you just can't imagine not being able to get a hold.
Right.
And that gave me a moment
And
of pause.
knowing that so it's a double whammy. So most people look at us like robots,
Right.
and we are robotic at times, and we're trained for that, right? Paul's robotic when he's at work. You're trained.
Right.
But what they've done over time and with TV shows, it's I tell everybody, they go, I don't watch no SWAT shit on TV because that's they've never been able to justify our job.
Right.
And so you're in that robotic mode, but in as much as you're in that robotic mode of going in the door and dealing with the threat, you in your mind you're picking up those phone calls ringing. You know what time it is. You're trying to process
Right.
that what's going on. You got a full auto. You're ready to go into a gunfight, and you're stepping over dead bodies, and you're seeing the phone lights up. That right there, I don't think anybody can comprehend that,
Right.
even as an explanation.
Right.
As much as you could explain it, nobody could comprehend what you're discussing. We can because we've been there and done that, but even at that magnitude, the weight of what you're saying is
And that's if
Well-
I could. Yes, ma'am.
No, I was going to say, Raul, first I want to say thank you so much for driving over
Thank
here tonight. But as I was listening to you explain that when you talked about the phones ringing, I had chills on my arms just listening to that. And as a spouse, there were many times where I was worried at home. And so hearing you say that and really, taking that in, these were family members that were calling because the news was coming out. This afternoon on my way home from work, I was thinking about you coming over, and I was thinking about that day. And I remember that day very clearly. Babe, I don't know if you remember, we were in San Francisco, and you woke up to go do the triathlon. It was Sunday morning.
Crazy son of a bitch.
And
He runs
got
because he
up
wants
after
to.
the sun came up
remember.
to meet our friends to go watch the start, and I remember seeing the news and thinking, oh my gosh, what is going on? I lived in Orlando for 10 years. It's like a second home to me. And I partied in that area, and it was shocking. And I remember when the triathlon was over and we got back home, babe, I remember you, which would normally be a celebratory thing, right? The race is over, we finished.
I did get ate by a great white.
It it was a struggle for Doug, knowing that something like this had happened, and so close to home, and and that just it weighed. I remember it weighing very, very heavy on his mind. So thank you so much for being here and being willing to talk about this, because it is so important for everybody to hear. Thank you.
I want to get to a question.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, so we're back up, and we were just starting to get into the thick of things. So we're going to reboot. I'm going to go back and read one of the comments. It was actually, we were talking about basically after seeing that, what is
Was I indifferent?
Yeah, were you indifferent to seeing bodies?
I was just saying. So for me, it's a moment in time. That was, he was a monster that needed to be dealt with. I don't go around, seeing monsters everywhere. It was a moment in time, and we dealt with it. And I was able to put it aside and continue, on with life, and needed help.
Yeah.
But I was able to move on and didn't look at everybody like a monster.
Right. Yeah. So one of the other comments was the cell phones are a reoccurring theme amongst mass shootings. Yes. I've heard that. I think the guys down south at the airport. They, I was doing a speaking engagement, and when I got done, two of those guys came and talked to me and told me they had the same issue with the cell phone, just being one of the things that just stuck in their minds. Right. And I didn't know that till then, but that's one of the issues that in these mass shootings, that people just it sticks in their minds. So inherently, everybody that you were there with immediately becomes family, whether you were close to them or not, because you lived through the same day of hell. And there's a lot of days, especially being on a SWAT team with multiple call-outs and just mass chaos, do you get really close to those guys. But there's some unsung heroes of that day, and I think that really brought a lot of first responders, first receivers, kind of like really opened up the playing field of I don't want to say who matters, but what matters and what job functions really contribute to policing. And one of them are dispatchers. Can you imagine how they took those phone calls and what they were hearing? Because I can only imagine, you said cell phones, and that people in there were calling while that was happening.
Right. So the 911 calls were happening throughout the incident, from the very onset of him coming in and opening fire till the very end. They were down 911 trying to give us information, and the dispatchers just stars, rock stars. I can't say enough the professionalism of how they handle things, taking the information, disseminating that appropriately. Sorry, that messed me up a little bit.
Okay, no worries.
They were just rock stars. They completely took care of us in the way that they can. You know? And it's I've heard incidents where you have somebody taking a call and they don't rotate them out, or the person. We did a good job. OPD did a great job. I really can say that. And then I tell you what, I'm forgetting his name now, Sergeant Brennan. When he heard it, he went straight to the dispatch.
Oh, wow.
He's a crisis negotiator. He knew to just go straight there.
Wow.
Sure enough, when the guy calls, he's right there. Ready to go.
Ready to go. Freaking the dirtbag.
Yeah.
He called and he was able to intercept the call. See, I don't remember
he
that
called,
debriefing. Do you?
He called once, and it was to the dispatcher. And, he started saying, what he said, and she kind of put, okay, this is the guy. And then he pledged allegiance to whatever he pledged allegiance to, and then it was a pretty quick call, and he hung up. But then he calls back. There's some conversation between the Sarge and him, and that was the first lines of communication. And kudos to Sarge for just knowing, you know what, let me get there because first instinct is to go to the scene, right? But
Right.
he went to the dispatch and said, "This guy's going to," and sure
Wow.
enough, he
That's
he
a
was there.
thinker.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely,
like
absolutely.
everybody always wants to run and engage, right?
Right.
But he's obviously a sergeant, and he's in that position because he knows how to use his
Smart,
noggin.
just went straight
Can-
there.
Can you get that audio still, or is that adequate?
Some of it I got, some
You
of
do?
it I don't. Yeah,
I think we can probably use that.
Yeah,
And when we're teaching and on
it's
tour.
I've got some of it. It's good
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, so
Well,
it's definitely on the. Oh, you know what? I'm not sure if I played it for your when you saw my presentation. I'm not sure I played it that day because
I don't remember
it
hearing
depends.
it.
So I have when I have different varieties presentations depending on who the audience is. So
Right,
that's, yeah,
right.
so that's
So like we should be talking about this later, but
yeah.
we need that for when we do.
Oh,
some
for sure.
stuff.
Well, you
Yeah.
said it was going to be a sneak peek. That's kind of how you
Yeah.
preface the
Yeah.
show. So that's a great little conversation. So another challenge and hurdle in a scene that big, dealing with civilians that want to help out. Like I know that there were guys in pickup trucks moving patients, anybody that they could help out. Can you talk about that dynamic? Have you had any experience with that?
You know what happened in that incident, and it's one of those things I tell people and we don't think about it. But so the shooting happens, shooting starts, people are running, and they're running away. Right. I mean,
right.
rightfully so, they're running away. Police are coming.
Right.
All the lights, all the cops come to the scene. Everybody that ran away is not coming back
Right.
to the police.
Right.
I'm not so sure to help, but they were coming to tell them there's a bad guy in there.
Right.
Well, yeah, with a
All
machine
right.
gun.
Yeah, with a machine gun and doing what he's doing. So they were trying to help in that way, but it made it even more chaotic at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the police kind of know there's a bad guy in there, but now there's 100 people coming this way.
Right.
Back to the and they're not wrong. They come back to the police lights. Those
Right,
are people that we're there to help,
Yeah, yeah,
but they're coming back. So now the cops telling you, hold on,
yeah. Because even as an operator, we'd be like, "How do I know you ain't one
you
of
may
these?"
be a bad guy,
Right.
And so that and the club, people may think it's big. It's not a very big club,
Right.
and it's just outside of downtown proper, if you will. Just outside where the high rises are and everything. And if not for that club, there'd be no cars around there,
Right.
except for that club's going on right there. So it was just the patrons of that club
Right.
and the police there.
Right.
But it was a lot,
Right.
So, yeah, and as far as the pickup trucks going, that was one of us.
Okay.
That was one of the patrol guys, patrol tac guys. And just, and I don't want to get into the fire department role in this one, but it lacked.
Right.
It just things were not in place for them to take a bigger role
Right.
initially.
Right, because it was still a hot zone, and that's one of the things
Well,
that
that's their
yeah.
thing, right? They don't come in if
That-
it's a hot zone.
well,
right?
and we're just now training with all of the mass shootings in the United States of working with fire departments and EMS in warm zones.
Right, and there's more to that. There was some training in place. That just again, it becomes higher than my pay grade.
Right.
As far as management and kind of everybody seeing eye to eye on what needs to happen and when to implement it.
Right.
And we can debate whether it was a warm zone or not, or a hot zone, and at what point it went from a hot to a warm, and where that was located.
I think there's a good thing to interject there is at that moment you're not taking the question. Your job is to save life.
Yeah.
And whatever that looks like,
Right.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
And so we can always go back and look and
Yeah,
say, what
yeah.
could we have done better? But at that moment, how do you determine what the best action is to save more life, or to whose life to take?
Yeah.
And that's a
Well, it
heavyweight.
was again a way above my pay grade, but I will I always give praise to at that time Chief Mina and Captain Canty for their leadership and making those decisions, because that was one of the questions.
Right.
What are we doing right now? Are we making a plan to go in and neutralize this threat?
Right.
Or we're going to save lives right now?
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to do both at the same time.
Right.
Depending on the situation, the environment, your bad guy.
Right.
So there's a bunch of factors in there. So what we had, and tactically you have to know when it went from an active shooter to a barricaded gunman.
Right.
So we have to know the difference there. So we were at the barricaded gunman stage now. So with a person that has shown he's got
Extreme violence.
yeah, he's shown the willingness to carry out what he's saying he's going to do.
Right.
So we believe him. That's what I'm getting at. So we
Right,
believe
right,
in what he's saying. So
Right.
it came to the captain.
Right.
What's the marching orders here? Are we to save people, or are we making a plan to go in and get them? And it was we're going to hold right here and get as many people out as we can.
Right.
And that became the mission. And things evolved. Again, we talk about the SWAT gods. We made a plan to get more people out, and the SWAT gods put us in a place where it kind of tactically worked in our favor.
Yeah.
I wish I could sit here and say, some bad motherfuckers, and we said we're going to do this right here. And we do.
Yeah.
It's not really
Right.
how it went down. It just
Right.
kind of it worked for us.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's some shit that didn't work for us, But yeah, that as far as the things that we were doing to save people, kind of ended up working fortically
Right.
for the end of the whole thing. So yeah, there was a decision that had to be made, and again, that's above my pay grade. Captain Canty, I will sing his praises. Scott Smith, Lieutenant Scott Smith, I will sing his praises. Those guys made decisions on the fly at the scene that were just phenomenal.
I got to say, me too.
Yeah.
I've been around some great SWAT guys in my day, and commanders and lieutenants from on down, or however they classify them, and I was nothing but impressed with everyone. Yeah, hey, listen, man. We don't make mistakes. That's what I tell people all the time. We don't make mistakes, right?
Right.
Which there was none made, but even from other guys saying, yeah, you guys did absolutely the best you could with the situation you had, and you saved a lot of lives.
We did.
Unfortunately, it went down the way it did before you guys got there and did that. But yeah, and I've always been impressed with a lot of things they do. And Sheriff Mina, man, I didn't work for him, but I've always been impressed with him. I ran in. He was at some of the conference we were at, so we had some brief conversations, and I think he did a good job. One of the things that I'd like for you to touch base on was what took place right after. Like, here's the critical thing. So I'm gonna get off subject for a second for the people listening. So obviously we work in this industry. Chris is still full time, so it's much harder for him to work with us. But for like Raul and I, we work in this industry every day, and we work with the biggest organizations, from the international chiefs to the FBI, the National Sheriff Association. And some of the things that we're doing is we're attempting to change the game of how we can better take care of our first responders. And what that being said was, what are we doing wrong and what are we doing right so that we better? Because obviously, even now with this shitstorm that's going across the nation, where everybody hates the police, we joked about it on the show the last time. They were feeding us on Monday and wanting to kill us on Friday, from the corona thing. And so what a lot of people don't see outside of the job is the things that we have to deal with at that key moment. So what I want to touch base on, Randy, I'm going to read it in a second here. When when it was over, what was the good things that took place and what were the bad things? What I'm trying to get out. So when it was done, which was I get the scene, but when you guys officially, they were like, all right, let's load up, let's download our stuff and let's get out of here. What was taking place in that time? Do you remember?
No, that was first thing I remember, and again, this is a tribute to leadership. The shooters kind of corralled, and James Parker, Sergeant, first thing he said is call your loved ones, let them know you're okay, and we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
And which was, I was still jacked up. So to hear that brought me down, calmed me down a little bit. And again, kudos to him and his leadership. And, then what happens is, and I'm sure this is, I don't know. I mean, I've been involved in a couple incidents, but we had to wait for the Alphabet Boys to show up. So we had to wait for FDLE, FBI, IA. We had to wait for all of them.
Yeah.
And they put us in our SWAT room, and we sat there for hours waiting. And then we, and they brought the evidence text, the crime scene text, and take photos of us, and it just took all of our shit, took everything. To the point, I mean, we had to go they took our clothes. Thank God I had shit in the car to get changed.
Yeah,
so,
right. Backups.
Yeah. So thank God for that. Then, so that thing started at 2 a.m. I think I got home 11, 12 o'clock or something like that. And remember on the way home, getting a text, hey, there's going to be a meeting that night about 5 o'clock. And again, this is Sunday, so 5 or maybe I don't know if it was 5 or 7. But I'm like, shit, man, something else now? God, so
on a Sunday night.
On a Sunday night, but and so I get home, I go to bed, and I wake up. I don't watch too much TV, especially on the news a lot. And
right.
So guys, it was a situation for me. We took care of the bad guy. It was bad. So I'm driving downtown because we were meeting is downtown Orlando, very close to where the club is. It's where the FOP Lodge is, and kudos to them. I'm driving downtown. It's usually a ghost town. Sunday afternoon, there's nobody down in Orlando, in downtown proper. And I'm going down the street, and damn if I don't see 1,000 people lined up. Like, what the hell is going on down here? I'm thinking some kind of protest, and not thinking.
Yeah.
Same thing to do. The people lined up at the blood bank.
Oh, wow.
Then I get to the FOP Lodge, and the news is on, and holy shit, we're on every news channel. I had no idea that we had made national news. I had no idea because we didn't see any of that. We didn't see any of that on the scene. We were kind of whisked away, and we sat in a little pink room, and we waited. So I didn't know that it was that big of a deal. And I will tell you that fast forward, there was, debate. Again, this is above my pay grade. A debate about releasing the names of the shooters. And so that was done, and that took a little bit of a toll on me because of my.
People look at you different.
Yeah, and just a personal thing. Right. It took a toll on me because of my conversations with my family.
Right.
I tried to prepare him for that. My son, right. Who was 50, he was 14 at the time, and trying to prepare him for what may be happening, right. And it hit home. The first phone call I got that was from whatever media,
right.
And then the second phone call, and then he sees one of the white media vehicles come around the house. He's nervous for me, and that's something I never wanted for my son. So
right. And that's a lot to process for a 14-year-old kid, and I know it with my sons. they think we're cool. Chris has all daughters, so he's a god, right?
I am.
You're not a
I'm the
god when
hero.
you got boys. You're just cool.
Right.
And they go to school, and my dad's killed 180 men, and my dad's killed 3,000, and that type of stuff. But it's still, you can see it in them when you come home and you have that incident. Like my kids, I could see it in their face that they could see it in my face. Like, oh, what just happened to you?
When they publish that you are a trigger squeezer, and now it's reality, right? So people always draw that perception of, oh, I kind of understand what they do, but there's even growing up, people don't realize that. Even though you're within your lawful right and that you're saving lives by doing it, they've never stopped to think about, well, what if my parent had to do that?
Right.
And I have so many people, I have so many questions, and are we willing to allow our families and the people that are closest to us ask those questions?
Right.
Because that could create a trauma for them, because I know you, I trust you, I love you, but I never thought of you as a killer. Because we precondition everybody to, we watch it on the news, we watch it in movies, and that's not real. It doesn't happen to us. Right. And there are law enforcement officers around this world and other people that have had to squeeze a trigger and do it lawfully to protect somebody, and that's huge. And
I think for me, I was worried that maybe I didn't prepare him enough. Maybe I didn't prepare my family enough for what may be coming, as far as the scrutiny, as far as the pressure by the media to get the interview and that kind of thing. Yeah. And then that made him nervous, and I was, damn, did I do enough? Did I say enough? I will also say, and I want to make some things clear, is that I was able to call my PIO, and
right.
She was a fucking pit bull. I mean, who called you? Who was there? Right. And she got on their asses. So that, because they were trying to protect us. So I want to make that clear. It wasn't by the police department. They were doing and so I know the names had to be released. It was a matter of time. So that's not a big deal. I'm putting that on me. Did I prepare them enough? That I had the right conversations about, and maybe because I didn't know the level of attention it was going to get. Yes, ma'am.
Babe, you're making a lot of background noise. There's background noise coming from your end. No, I'm not
Always
punking.
In trouble.
I'm not giving you any grief. There's something over there with your computer, I think.
Cats.
I don't know, because it's really quiet in here.
We're good.
Well, I'm home. I'm not home.
I just lost my train of thought. Oh, Raul, I was gonna say, I wanted to say, don't beat yourself up for wondering if you prepared your son, your family enough, because in my mind, I don't think that you could ever prepare anybody. We know what our loved ones do to a certain extent, but I'm not so sure, and the three of you can correct me if I'm wrong, but in an incident that's
a setup right there. That was just a setup.
You can't correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know, and I always want to learn. But in an incident such as this, I'm not so sure that you could ever truly be prepared. Who really thinks that they're going to go through that in life? You train, and yes, you're tactically prepared, but I'm sure it never crossed your mind or a thought that you would be involved in something to this magnitude.
Right.
A shooting, yes. A crazy chase, yes. but something of this magnitude, it's the thing that people hope they're never ever going to have to deal with. So I don't want you or anyone else who has ever been through something like this, or even just I don't think any shootout is typical, but for lack of better term, the typical shootout.
Well, that was a national tragedy. It wasn't.
Right.
There's, we've all, when I say we, SWAT teams have all trained for active shooters and force-on-force training, and what's the other crap we used to do? For large-scale stuff.
Right.
But that is a different magnitude, so you can't. Yeah, you can prepare your family, and because when you get into a regular shooting, it's just you and the bad guy, and it's just you, and you tell your family, and it's a single incident. Where this is history.
Yeah.
So how do you prepare for your kid the entire life? But you just do the best you can. Go ahead, and then I want to read some comments.
Really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Karen, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So what I want to say is this is a great opportunity to address that from both sides, because the listeners are here to support us, and we're here to also give information and to support each other. So if the listener is a family member and they're going through that, what does the timing look like? And when you come home from that, how can they help you? Because I'm sure asking a whole lot of questions and rehashing it right then, you hadn't slept in, 24 hours?
It seemed like it, yeah.
And
time is the thing. But I kind of preach this on Tuesdays. Time is one thing, but we, as first responders, have to work on finding our way to communicate with our family, and that may not mean gory details. It may not mean a lot of details. It just may, hey, some bad shit just happened.
Yeah.
And I'm I need you to just kind of be here for me. And if it's the I had a girlfriend at the time that I just and to sound like kind of sensitive, but just can we just lay in bed and chill?
right.
And hold me kind of shit,
Yeah,
so
Right.
Well, that's what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
They program us as robots. Like,
Right.
hey, man, can you just maybe just rub my back and
Fuck, I'm
be
not
quiet?
hungry. I don't want to drink.
Yeah,
I just want to quiet, calm.
Yeah.
I just
Still.
went home and I was given that time. I think it was good for me just to kind of sleep, and wake up refreshed. And we went to the lodge I was telling you about. And again, kudos to the leadership. We get to the lodge and every SWAT member, past and present, was there that could be there.
That's one thing cool
Yeah.
that OPD does, because them old timers,
We are a tight.
Frank Repass,
Yes,
and
sir.
them, they
Yes,
meet
sir.
for lunch, and we don't.
Yeah.
It's hard to get that type of stuff now.
No.
Well, they're not these new SWAT guys, and I'm gonna say it,
They're bred different.
they're not like we are.
And we and this is not tooting the horn, but this is what you call history, legacy. This is what they have laid down, and they've trained me and they've taught me to respect our history. And I hope in my time in the team, I told the younger guys under me, hey, respect the history. The team and the new guys now, I think they get it. I mean, we've done a lot to make sure that stays intact. So when these things happen, you can reach out to a Frank Repass, a Bobby Bond, a Scotty Longenecker, and I can name them. Those are the guys, and I hope in years to come that the guys can
Reach to you.
come out and say, hey, Raul was there,
Right.
Hank Wong was there, James Parker was there, and I can Scott Smith and those type things, and we are a tight team. I will tell you one of the things, back to your question about what happened after, we had of course, mandatory CISM meeting, and then everybody knows Critical Incident Stress Management Team came to talk to us, and again, leadership Cap chose 2 guys from that team. He said, because you can't bring anybody in there.
Right.
If the guys don't respect them, then it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And
ineffective.
he chose a couple of guys, and I never forget this. They said whatever date it was, 2 o'clock be it. I'm thinking, shit, we'll go get lunch and be done in about 30 minutes. This is going to be pretty quick.
Right.
4 hours later.
Right. I need to eat again.
Well, and it was all predicated by, first of all, the 2 hand-picked guys, and Scott Smith started the whole thing off, and he spoke from the heart.
Right.
I'm not sure, had that not have happened, I'm not sure how that meeting would have went, but it takes a leader to go ahead and open his heart for everybody to follow.
So what you're saying is, if it's not sincere, so
Yes, sir.
not anybody
sir.
belongs in that room.
No,
And-
absolutely not.
And I think that's for a lot of agencies, finding the sincere leader that's willing to put it out there on the table and to allow everybody to let their guard down and open up.
Yeah.
Kind of really, I think that's the most challenging thing across the nation, because those small agencies, not everybody has a dynamic leader that can say, you know what, I've been through this shit, I'm screwed up, and this is where I'm at, so you can meet me here, and then everybody can get down to business.
Right. And it is so powerful. I commend the leadership we had. I hope I was a decent leader. The guys that under me, but it takes that. It absolutely takes that. It takes a sincerity. It takes a leader to be the first one, because we know it's always hard for that first guy, right, to be the one to say, especially in a group of guys.
Right.
A group of alpha
Especially-
elites, Yeah, so
Right.
A SWAT room.
yeah,
man,
a SWAT
bunch of-
room.
I can kick everyone's ass room.
But I'll say this now, with throwing no names out, there wasn't a dry eye in there.
Oh, absolutely.
I learned that guys that weren't there were hurting,
Right.
and that, again, I learned so much in this incident about just traumatic events and PTSD. Just kind of, holy shit, I just didn't know.
Right.
And there was guys that were nowhere near. But and we're so close, I've said this all the time, I tell guys this, you've got to understand, as you get better at being a SWAT operator, the closer you're going to come to death. And you have to know that you got to make peace with your maker, because when you're number 1 or number 2 going through the door, you have to know, be at peace with that.
Right.
And then you don't got to think about that anymore. You can go do your job.
Right.
See you tomorrow, Chris.
And so that has to be, one of those things that when we talked as a team and in that setting, and the guys that weren't there, it's like, I've always thought, and this was some of the guys talking, that we were going to die together.
Right.
If we were going to die, we'd die together.
That's that old school mentality.
And so that and our old school guys have brought that mentality. It's a teamwork thing, and it's no different than playing sports or whatever. If we're gonna lose, we're gonna lose together. I want to be there, even if we lose.
Right.
I want to be there. So
Right.
And that was them. So I just didn't know that guys that weren't there were hurting like that.
Right.
And that was
it's
an learning
pretty
experience.
crazy. And
Yeah.
we've talked about that on the show. A lot of things, some things you touched on. You made, and I want everybody to understand this, because we preach this even on our, we did it on our show last Tuesday, and Chris is a huge advocate for this. Leadership. It has to start from the top. And yet Raul said it 1,000,000 times tonight, leadership, and commend him in the leadership. And also, like we talked about on this show, my chief, who stood by my side and led by an example. Obviously, his story of what he did with me is now national, because he started from the top, and he's an advocate for that. But he's also an old school SWAT guy,
Yeah.
And we need more of that. And if you spin it on a side note, It's look where the country's at now. Everybody hates everybody.
Right.
At least the media tells. We've had this show topic because the media's got everybody thinking that all blacks hate whites and all whites hate, blacks and Democrats. That's a bunch of bullcrap. You know that, I know that, because we live in this world. That's really not true. But what it was an example, it's another example of how we can unite when we need to. With the Pole shooting was it was a bad day on the LBG. Is that golf?
TQ.
I'm sorry, people, if you're in that club.
I completely apologize.
LBGQ, right?
Well, and I got to apologize because I honestly thought after that day that all those dividers were gone. I thought we were like, we poured out to them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was still a lingering, ongoing problem, and maybe it's because I'm sheltered, but I mean, I thought our job was to go protect and help each other and lift each other up as fellow Americans and all that. And, and that's what I always revert back to is like how many cops showed up that day and they didn't give a shit what your personal preference was. Yeah. I mean, did you have to check a box? Did you have to say, this is offensive to me? No, you went and you just did your job, right?
It wasn't, it wasn't even... I'm not sure when I found out it was an alternative lifestyle club. It wasn't then. Right. I'll tell you that while I knew it was there, I didn't know it was there.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. It didn't matter to me.
Most cops, it don't matter.
It didn't matter to me.
Right.
That's a message that we have to get out there now. Because, with the George Floyd thing, that they're trying, but it's just saying they're trying to make it the cops hate black people. Let me tell you something. Raul touched on this earlier when we talked about the bad guy. I don't mention his name.
Right.
I'm sure Raul don't. We don't. But I want the listeners to understand something. When we show up, a bad guy is a bad guy. So Raul touched I don't care about him. He was just the bad guy. Yeah, he did some carnage. He did a more evil thing than the average person. But if you kill one person or you kill 10 person, you're still a killer. You're still a piece of crap and a bad guy. And so when we come up on scene, it's a bad guy. It doesn't matter what he did. He's a bad guy. That's where the robot comes in.
Sir.
And it was the same thing. He was just a bad guy. Mm-hmm. And when you leave, it's just another bad guy that I had to deal with. Right. You don't make that connection to it. But where you make the connection, it's funny. Raul has no connection with the bad guy, nor do you and nor do I, but we have connections with the victims.
Yeah,
and we have connections with like the cell phones and the smells and the thing. Like Karen will tell you, I had a flashback one time. I walked through from the garage, and I talk about this in my presentation, into the kitchen, because you go from my garage right in the kitchen, and she was cooking some nasty-ass vegetables. And, the little green balls. What are they, babe? Brussels sprouts.
Oh, so, I love them. Yeah,
yeah. Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to go.
You got to eat them with bacon.
I'm going to go get some.
Right.
Well, I don't, because they remind me of Louisiana and Katrina.
Right.
And that smell, when I walk through the door, I'll never forget it. And we're used to opening doors and getting people shooting at us.
Right.
When I opened that door, it brought me to my knees. And I remember just saying over and over, what the fuck is that smell? What the fuck? And it just blew me out. And to this day, I just don't like the smell. I just don't. I don't like it. It and little things like that.
Yeah.
So how you attach? Sorry, babe. You attach to the phones.
Yep.
You attach the smells, but you don't attach to the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think it's just interesting to me because at that time we hadn't been dating that long, less than a year, and so I didn't fully understand everything. And so, I kind of...
She drove a Prius, man. Of course she didn't understand, man.
I laughed it off. And And I mean, I still cook Brussels sprouts to this day, but I kind of laughed it off back then because I didn't really get it.
No, right.
The more I've come to understand, and the more, over the years, I've just educated myself on everything with everything that Doug has been through, so I can support him the best that I can, and so that we can communicate the best that we can. I understand that now. But back then, when he came in the house and he's like, "What the hell is that smell? It's horrible." He said, "It smells like dead bodies." And I really just, chalked it up to "you're nuts." It doesn't smell like dead bodies. But now,
That's fucked up when your wife calls you. Yeah.
Right.
I understand that truly to him, it does. And so, though I still cook Brussels sprouts, I cook them in a different way.
Right.
I don't boil them anymore because that's what I did that day. I boiled them and they stunk. So, it takes this understanding and learning of all of these things for family and loved ones. Sorry, babe.
The triggers. That's okay. You keep cooking your green nasty crap. Just wait.
I have a big bag in the
She
fridge.
don't care about me. See, in the beginning, it would, that's what we were
yeah.
talking about earlier.
Yeah,
she cared. Now she's like, no, I ain't driving that car. Back in the day, it was like, no, babe, whatever you want. Now it's like.
No, I tell you.
So let me touch on we had a lot of comments coming tonight. I couldn't get to everybody, but we're getting ready to close out here shortly. Sean Wyman, check him out. Sean's on the show tonight. He's a great guy. He's got a great book. Sean, can you put it in the comments for people to see it? And Doug Levine's got a bunch of good statements. We're going to go back and read them, obviously, when we're done, because there's a couple of good things. There was a couple of things I wanted you to hear, Raul.
Yeah.
Also, Adam made a comment.
Is he working today?
So Adam says, Raul, I think one of the biggest issues we dealt with at the scene was the sheer number of cops that he is working that showed up, and how organized the number of responders. So that just goes to show the quality of training that you guys are doing.
And just to piggyback on that, and the sheer number of cops, he's talking about damn near Central Florida, because Adam Gruler called for help, and damn it, everybody showed up. And I mean that. And from Orange County to Kissimmee to Edgewood, Altamont, everybody showed up. FHP, and they were all putting in work. And of course, the management shows up and they start setting up the IC.
Right,
Incident command,
That
which is great. And, it's great when it gets going, but in that first hour, hour and a half,
the most crucial time,
straight leg guys were coming to work.
Yeah,
and they did some great work. I wasn't there for that moment in time, but from everybody I spoke to, they got there and started doing things, and making headway. And that could have very well just been a bunch of chickens running around with their heads cut off, but it wasn't.
Right.
And that's kudos to the people with their boots on the ground when it happened. And I can, again, I'll tout Scott Smith, who responded from 5 miles away, and I always say this: he's that warrior that we talk about, that'll bring everybody back. He's the one you want leading you into hell.
I
and
spent
bring
some
you back.
time with him at Roundup. And because me and Mike were partners in explosive entry school.
Okay.
And how's Mike doing by any chance?
Doing all right.
He's doing okay.
Doing good.
So if y'all don't know Mike, we'll just leave it at Mike was the one that took the round to the head. He's one of our boys, so he's life's not so easy for him.
It's not
so
easy
keep
for him,
him in your
but
prayers
he's doing okay. He's doing okay.
He's doing all right, but he's one of our boys. He's out there, so we just need to keep him in our prayers and so forth. But anyway, I spent time with him, and he was even sharp then, man. What a great guy. You're blessed to be surrounded.
Yes, sir.
Because some of the things that we do on tour with Chris and Raul, like we meet cops from all over. We're constantly we're getting ready to start traveling to Seattle. We're going to go to Houston. We're going to a lot of these heavy hit places that have dealt with this is there a title for what's going on in the world right
I
now?
was just
The
gonna
shit
ask
show.
you. I don't know what you call it right now.
Let's make an official name. Nonsense.
Right, this nonsense. On our other show, we call it the shit show, but we're going to help and assist in that capacity, and not everybody. And we're coming to see you, Randy, too. That's on the Baton Rouge. You're on the chopping block. Is that not everybody is surrounded by that great leadership? Now, like, look at some of the guys out west.
Yeah.
And they're getting they're getting defunded, and it's just really, really bad, and that's going to that's going to backfire on them.
Right.
But so keep that in mind. I'm always a big advocate for everybody out there. Keep in mind, don't read the don't believe the hype.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Chuck D? who was that? Chuck D?
Was that Chuck D? May have been.
Don't believe, or was that Flavor Flav?
Flavor Flav. Oh yeah,
it was Flavor Flav, right? Don't believe the hype.
You're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
I spent too many years in the hood.
Oh my God.
So anyway, don't believe the hype, man. It's these guys are going through a lot of hell, doing the best they can with the resources they have, and when it's said and done, they are fathers, they are brothers, sisters, moms, whatever. They're in that family tree. They have to come home and deal with their families, just like you do. And so just keep that in mind before you put some bullcrap stuff on social media. Keep in mind it can negatively affect somebody's lives. There's all of a sudden, police suicides are starting to spike. Again, it's been plateaued for the year. Chris had talked about this on a previous show because they're so busy,
right.
Dealing with the COVID and stuff like that. Now, first responder suicides are going back up in a spike. I think the past couple weeks, I had like 37 phone calls by this afternoon. And it's just been day after day answering phone calls and pointing people in the right direction. So just keep that in mind, with this message that we had out there today.
Babe.
What?
I was going to say, we're getting calls from spouses, too.
And,
a lot more
right.
calls from spouses.
So I'm going to just go, since Karen brought that up, we, at Trauma Behind the Badge, we have a 3-part series coming up. That is going to be it's going to be really cool. We are going to direct it strictly towards the spouses. So there'll be one episode will be all of us Trauma Behind the Badge guys with our spouses, and then the second and the third series will be the spouses talking without us. So they got an open forum to say what they talk crap about us. So that's coming up September 10th.
Yeah. Seemed too excited about that, didn't she?
Yeah. She loves to get me back. And my brother said, "Mama says social media is the devil."
It's
the devil.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm not a big fan of it. Also, too, Chris, one of our Trauma Behind the Badge guys, Chris, as you guys see him on the show, Hingle, one of his guys just committed suicide the other day, and that's and it really sucks for Chris and for us, him being our teammate, when we work so hard for free to get this message out and do this. Chris is on his day off. He comes to do the show. I got no room to talk because I'm retired and you're semi-retired. So, but somebody like Chris who works so hard in this industry to save cops' lives and to lose one of your own. Yeah. And it's not from the it just happens sometimes. But what you do is you keep moving forward. We keep doing the work we're going to do. We're going to keep chomping at it. We got some great things. So we do have that coming up. Karen, there's a message on there for you from Randy. Can you see it on the Facebook? So anyway, Chris is going to close this out real quick with, I was going to say with Raul. He's part of Trauma Behind the Badge. I told you earlier in the show, traumabehindthebadge.com. You can register for the webinars that are weekly, Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can, if you're interested in hearing more from Raul, you can always reach out to him via when you go to Trauma Behind the Badge.
Yep.
You go to the host, you can click on Raul, it'll bring you right to his email and his stuff. He's more than happy to have any questions answered. Same for Chris. You can find Chris at Chris at survivefirst.us. That's about it for me. You know you're my boy. I love you, all of you guys, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
He'll be back.
Yep.
You'll have the opportunity to see us on tour. And Thayer's calling me. One of the guys, like, Thayer, you just
we're not done yet.
hey, Thayer, you're live on the show. Since you're calling, you got anything you want to say to everybody?
Listen to Doug. He knows what he's talking about.
We love it. We love that.
So anyway,
You ready?
do
So
your thing, Chris.
we're Raul and I are going to close it out, and here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to kind of lift you up for these closing things.
Thank you.
So of course we know that how that day ended, and that's some real shit, right? So let's think about and reflect on all the lives that affected. It started with an officer on scene, many innocent people in those families, the dispatchers that it went to, then all of the medical guys, plus every cop that grabbed their ass and said, I got to fucking get there.
Yep.
Right? And then from moment after moment after moment, from arriving on scene or reaching out and saying, where do I belong in this world? What can I do to be effective? You know, there's a lot of leaders that showed up that day. And a leader is also a good follower. So I want you to think about that is you work through the week and the next week of, am I leading my people? Am I leading my family? Because when Raul got off of work, he had to go and return to his son, to his family.
Yes, sir.
Right? And you got to be willing to know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And sometimes that's, hey, I need a day to process this stuff for myself. And when it's time to talk, I'm going to let you know. And we're going to have a hard conversation. There are some days that it doesn't matter what job that you do, whether you're a first responder, a dispatcher, a first receiver, a doctor, whatever that looks like, that you got to refresh your mind and you got to have hard conversations. One of my favorite people that I work with, in his little tagline down in the signature block was a statement by Dr. Seuss, and it's not always the answers that are hard, but it's the hard questions that we have to ask, right?
Is that Big Doug?
Yeah.
So it's funny you said it because that's one of my favorites too.
Right. I respect the hell out of him, and he is a great leader. But we have to lead and follow when it's our time to follow. Raul talked in depth about leadership being right and people making hard decisions, and him being willing and his team willing to follow those decisions all the way through. And even though those were the right decisions at the end of the day, there's a long-term impact on not only him, but the people around him and his family. So as we all walk around and you look to your left and to your right, know that you're not the only fucked up one in the room, right? There's a lot of people around us that have dealt with trauma, and please speak up and say something. Raul talked about, going to that meeting, and one of the leaders there, Scott
Yes,
Smith,
Yes, sir.
laying it all out on the line. And he said there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Well, when it's time to break down and to start talking some truths, be willing to speak the truth. Let your guard down, get it off your chest, and please don't let the numbers get any higher. We're all here for you. Reach out to us. Reach out to your battle buddy. Be a good battle buddy. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you got to lead. Sometimes you got to listen. And sometimes you got to follow.
Yep.
And don't, and this is my big thing. Check on people.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to bring my situation up, but that was what saved my life, was somebody that stepped up that I needed.
Right.
And you're right. I was lucky to have good leader. Doug, he's always on our show. He's been a perfect example and leader since day one. My entire career to this day, he's a phenomenal leader. Find those guys in your department and utilize them, and check on your guys, because one of the lessons that they learned about me at work was nobody knew.
Nobody knew.
Nobody had a clue. I was a master at the disguise. I just, because of my personality, the way I talk crap, and my bad attitude, and how
Right.
I like to fight and argue. They just thought that was me, but it wasn't. That really wasn't me. And, thank God that I'm here today, that I lived through that, but because I had those guys that were willing to check on me and to step up. So it is equally important for all of us to do the same thing within our departments. Yes, Miss Levine, we are talking about your Doug. He is by far probably one of the coolest guys I've ever worked with in my life.
Yep.
And I every time I see him today, and this is important too, people, every time I see him, I tell him I love him, because there's not a day I don't want that dude to wake up and not know that. You know what I mean?
Right. So
I'm going to tell you, babe. Sorry, Chris. I'm going to tell you how important that really is. Checking on people. Are y'all making fun of me?
No.
Kurt, the guy.
No, ma'am. Absolutely
Well, I'm
not.
gonna tell you, babe. Rich Creamer just sent us a
I'm
funny video
sorry,
of
yeah.
Raul.
And he showed it to me, and I could not.
One of the guys is punking
I'm
out.
so
Raul.
sorry if I blurted out a little laugh there. It was not you. I'm so sorry.
Thanks, Rich,
No,
for
I
that.
just wanted to agree with that. That importance of checking on people, because that I had that impact me the other day. As many of you know, for a year or longer, I've been going through some health issues, and actually, Karen Solomon, who is going to be on Trauma Behind the Badge tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, she is president of Blue Help, an amazing organization for first responders, and she will be on Trauma Behind the Badge tomorrow. And she, I don't know, maybe about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, when I was going through some health things, I don't even think she knew about it. And she just sent me a quick message and said, "How are you doing?" I responded, and she said, "I just wanted to check to make sure everything was okay." And that hit me right here at a time where I had the support I needed, but I was worried about my health, and I've been worrying about some other things. And just Karen reaching out and checking on me made a world of difference for that day when I was going through so much worry and having a hard time. So I mean, Doug says it all the time, but it's so important to just reach out, check on one person a day, if that's all you can do. But you never know. You may be making a huge difference for them.
Absolutely. Babe, I wanted to tell you I'm excited to have her back on the show. She's doing the best she can with this whole COVID thing, but she hadn't been here in a while. Rich laughing said he got us.
He did.
We'll get him back tomorrow night. But, it's been good to have Karen back on the show. I'm sucking up a little bit because I got to go home in a few minutes. So,
that's right.
I'll have your popcorn ready.
That's how I run this
Brussels
shit.
sprouts. Cook the Brussels sprouts.
Are we ready? I mean, when we get ready to wrap up, I have a couple announcements to make, so let me know when we're ready to do that.
We're ready to wrap up.
We're actually we're gonna let Raul walk us out and just say, I mean, what do you want people to know? Being where you've been, walked in the shoes that you've walked in, that when they come in contact with whoever it is, whatever it is, or what do you want your brothers and your sisters to know from how your life has changed, that how they can help you or how you can help them?
Man, I first of all, thanks for having me, guys. I can't tell you enough. It just means the world to me.
Thanks for being here.
Communication, I can't say it enough, and I mean that in every facet. When we talk about survive, and when you're in the academy, you're taught to survive.
Right.
We give you all these tools, right? And but they don't talk about the mental part of it.
Right.
We have to realize that survive means all of it.
All of it.
Surviving the life-threatening thing is one of it, but then you got to survive the aftermath.
Right.
So, and that only happens with communication. I don't know another way.
Right.
At least I haven't been shown another
Right.
way. So it has to happen with communication, and it's different for you than it is for me.
Right.
What you're going to say, what you're going to need to hear is going to be different than what I'm going to say and what I have to hear. And we have to be as relentless with fighting for our life physically. We have to be as relentless mentally doing that, so we can't. And what I mean by that is in Tuesday's last week's show, we were talking about guys, going to a doctor, maybe getting some shitty,
Right.
a shitty treatment, a shitty session, if you will. You've got to be relentless to go find the right person to talk to.
Right.
You can't.
It's like
God
trying
damn it.
on a shoe, Raul.
Yeah.
You don't just go buy a pair of shoes
Yeah.
and then go, oh, that's it. They
Exactly.
don't feel right.
But damn it, I challenge everyone. Damn it, if you'll fight for your life on the street to make sure you don't die, fight behind closed doors or go talk to somebody and find the right one.
Or call or
Or-
reach out.
I don't
to,
care who it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Reach out to somebody.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to pick on you. You may talk to Doug and he may say all the wrong shit.
Yeah. Which is
Just
probably,
doesn't work
which
for
is
you,
probably
right?
The case.
But you may talk to Chris and he may say all the right shit, or vice versa. I don't.
Right.
But damn it, keep fighting the same way you fought to survive whatever the incident was that you were on the street that's brought you to this place. I want you to fight some more. So that's what I got to say, and that's part of my journey is finding the right people.
Right.
That I thought I could talk to and related to me, and made me feel better. And that's part of my journey. So just keep fighting in every aspect of the word fight, and not just the physical part, but the mental part.
I love that.
Good message. Yeah.
I love that.
Continue to fight.
There's a lot to take away there. Please, 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 please reach out to somebody. Reach out to us if you need us. We're here for you. Raul, Doug, Karen, Chris, anybody. Stop by the Dirty Oar. Paul and all those guys, that family over there, their support. So wherever you need that support, find that support. And we mean that. We mean that wholeheartedly. And we're gonna be there for you. We don't want to see the numbers go up. And we don't want to see the numbers go up for no other reason that we care about you. Right? So we got some hopefully exciting stuff. Hopefully this COVID stuff will end and we'll be able to do something fun. So I'm going to give it over to Karen, and she's going to tell us what's next and how you can meet up with Survive First.
Absolutely. First, Raul, I've never heard it explained that way, but I love it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You guys do. Out on the street and work, you fight to survive. That's what you're taught. So if you're going to do that on the job,
Yes, ma'am.
oh my goodness, do that outside of the job. Do that for your mental health. Fight.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have to, as hard as you can to stay alive. I love that. Thank you for saying that, because I've never heard it explained that way, and that's just it right there. And also, thank you for driving all the way over here to spend the evening with
Thank you
us.
for
We
having
went
me.
way over time, but this was such a great conversation. So
No worries.
and thank you for also doing Trauma Behind the Badge with Doug and Chris and Chris. That's just one big. You're just one big crazy group. As far as events go, we do have 2 events that are coming up. One in October 3rd. That is going to be the MFC Motorcycle Club, their annual fundraiser, and they have us as their beneficiary this year. It's going to be, right now it's planned as a ride-in at the VFW in Rockledge. It's going to be a great day, so please keep your ears peeled for that, because we're going to start posting things on Facebook, but that is
Should give the
MFC Motorcycle Club. I'm sorry?
I didn't hear the date. I'm writing it down on my calendar. So.
Oh yeah, come please. October 3rd. It's going to be a great day. We have been their beneficiary the last 2 years. They're actually the ones that got us, off the ground running the first time they had us as their beneficiary. They're just a wonderful organization that do wonderful things for military, firefighter, and cops. That's what it stands for. So please keep an ear out for that. Also, January 2nd, we have our Run for Responders 5K. That's going to be an amazing night. It's our third year, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Three.
January
1, 2,
2nd.
3. Yeah.
I'm going to plug it. My birthday. So come out. Registration is open on runsignup.com. I know you're shaking your head, Doug.
Past my bedtime.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great night. So January 2nd, please sign up for that. That is going to go on. I hear Space Coast Marathon and Half Marathon got the green light. So if they can do it with their 6,000 runners, we can definitely do it in Cocoa Village on the 2nd. So sign up for that. It's going to be a good night. I'm so happy to be back. I've missed all of your faces. Well, I see you every single day, babe, but I miss you when you're gone. So it's great to be back. I hope you guys all have a good night. Raul, thank you again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Drive safely home.
Yes,
Chris,
I love
good to
you,
see
Mom.
you again.
See you soon.
Yes, absolutely.
And we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. And we are out. Hey, thanks for listening. See us again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Woo!